Hello, I'm Mrs. Camp and I've been working with the Year 10 tutors and students, helping them to prepare for their mock exams coming up next week. And I wanted to run through some of the things we've been doing as a school to support them, and then talk about a few ways that you can support them further at home. So firstly, their mock exams start next week and they run for 2 weeks. Every student's been given their timetable, and there's also a copy of the exam timetable online if that's something you'd like to have yourself as well. So in terms of how we've been supporting them in school with their revision, in registration times every week they've been shown and given the opportunity to practice different revision techniques. So they've been shown how to make flashcards, how to do mind maps, how to test themselves, how to know what their exam board is and why that's useful for them. And then on Thursdays, they've been working independently and getting on with some revision to get them into those good habits. We've also given every student a exam stationery kit. Some subjects have given out some revision guides, and every student has had a copy of a booklet that lists every single subject and the different resources they can use to help them revise. They also have access to online revision websites such as Seneca and Everlearner, which have a wide variety of subjects on them, and then there are some subject-specific ones like Heggerty Maths as well. So in terms of things that you can do to support your child with this first set of mocks, really around their health and well-being, just continuing to make sure that they have a healthy diet, they're drinking lots of water, they're getting enough sleep. Often around exams, students feel like they need to stay up late and revise. This isn't particularly effective, and actually sleep is much better for them. Talking with them about how the exams are going, how they're feeling, reassuring them if there's anyone that they need more, anything they need more support with, talking about who they can approach about that. Obviously encouraging good attendance to school throughout exams. If they're in school, they're getting that support from their classroom teacher. They're also able to talk about things with their friends. And just because it's exam season, it doesn't mean that they have to stop the hobbies and things that they like. And it's really good for them to continue with that regular physical activity and getting some fresh air. So in terms of their revision at home, the key is to make sure that they are regularly revising and getting into good habits around their revision. We'd recommend around 2 hours per day during exam time. There is some flexibility there. Obviously, if they've got a sports club on one day or a day where they can't do it, then that in some ways is more important for them. Where possible, to have a quiet space free from distractions, and encourage them to work in 20 to 40 minute bursts with breaks. This is about the right amount of time for them to be able to concentrate on something effectively. Self-testing is the most effective way of revising. So that means them either having some past paper questions, or when they've got their flashcards, having a question on one side and an answer on the other side. If this is something they do, it's something you can get involved with testing them at home, or siblings can test them at home, and it is one of the most effective ways to revise. So logistically, on exam days, you need to make sure they have all their equipment, including their lanyard, as this is used to identify them. They are only allowed a clear bottle with water and no labels on the bottle in exams, and after their exam, just ask them how they felt it went. They probably won't say that much about it, or they'll say, I don't know, but it's just showing that little bit of interest, and talk to them about what's coming up next and what they need to start revising next. So I've just put together a few frequently asked questions that we often get from parents and carers. The top one is probably that the child says that they don't know how to revise. So in this case, just refer them to the revision booklet that we sent home or that's on the school website, or ask them what techniques they've already tried and what they've been shown in school. If they are ill on the morning of an exam, obviously if they're displaying any COVID symptoms, sickness, diarrhoea, keep them at home as usual, and an alternative time will be arranged. Otherwise, please encourage them to come in to try and complete their exams. Often once they're in, they feel better with something to focus on, and they're surrounded by their friends as well. They seem to have missed lots of time with lockdown. How can they sit an exam? This is a question we've had from students as well as from parents and carers, and really most students are in the same situation. The subject teachers will have told them what to expect on the test, and it will cover taught content. The importance of mocks really is to get students used to sitting formal exams. It's also to show them what they know and what they remember, and what they don't know and what they don't remember, and the same for their teacher. So the focus should really be on what they need to do next to improve, rather than on the grade. But the grade will be available on the Sims Parent app at the end of the year. And finally, just around motivation, it's a 2-week period to sustain that motivation, that revision. Things like setting goals together with them, offering and negotiating small rewards, so getting them involved in those kind of things, like having their favourite dinner or being able to choose what's on TV that night, and sometimes discussing their future aspirations with them and giving them that bit of motivation there so that they're motivated by themselves and their future aspirations can be good as well. So the next bit is a little bit controversial. I know we are talking about teenagers, and the majority are very attached to their mobile phones or iPads. And I just wanted to give you some of the facts around mobile phones and the effects that they can have on grades. So Cambridge University did a piece of research that showed that an extra hour a day of TV, internet or computer game time in Year 10 is linked to poorer grades at GCSE. 1 additional hour resulted in dropping a grade in 2 subjects, and 2 additional hours resulted in dropping a grade in 4 subjects. On the flip side of that, pupils who did an extra hour of homework and reading achieved a grade higher in 5 subjects. When it comes to their revision, if they have a mobile phone on the desk, even if they're not using it, it is proven that that distracts them and is enough to make them perform 20% worse. So I'd really strongly encourage them, just for 20 or 40-minute bursts, to leave their phone outside the room whilst they're concentrating on their revision, and then they can go and get their phone in those breaks. And students who use mobile phones excessively have slower response times in memory tasks. In the exams, if your child is found to have a phone on them or to have used a phone, it can result in them forfeiting all of their GCSE grades and getting 0 in every subject, which is obviously something we don't want to happen. So if you can reiterate that with them as well as we do in school, hopefully we won't have any students ending up in that position. So just finally, some other places that you can go to for more information and support around exams and supporting your child. There is more information on the TCOLC website. There's also some really good information on NHS England, Young Minds and the BBC. I hope you found that useful. Thank you for listening. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, contact your child's subject teacher or the head of year, Mrs. Penfold. Thank you.